Hey everyone, Jason here from Off the Beaten Path, and today's video is the easy way to Craig's Hut. So as you can see on the map on the screen there, guys, there's a pretty easy way to get to Craig's Hut. It's a great place to visit, so I highly recommend it. You head east out of Mansfield on the Mount Buller Road through Sawmill Settlement. When you get to Mirrumbar, which is just where the gates are, where you normally pay for your alpine passes or hand them in during the snow season, you turn left onto Mount Sterling Road. Follow that around till it joins Circuit Road. Take the left-hand branch of Circuit Road. Follow that all the way around past the parking area. There's a parking area for two-wheel drive vehicles to do the walk up to Craig's Hut. It's about 3k's. You go just a little bit past there, and then you turn onto Clear Hills Track, which is a four-wheel drive track. It's only 3 kilometers long, and from there you head up to Craig's Hut. So that's today's videos, guys. I thought coming into the Christmas season, it's a really good trip that just about anyone can do. Now when I did this, it was just after we'd had quite a lot of rain, so as you'll see when we get up there, there's a bit more water around on Clear Hills track than I would have perhaps expected. So yeah, stop for a quick lunch stop on the way. Just found this cracking little lunch spot, campsite just beside the main road up to Mount Buller. That's the Delatite River there. As you can see, she's flowing pretty hard. My guess is that's normally a gentle little stream, and right now it'd be a cracking spot for canoe, kayaking, rapids if you like, that sort of thing. So yeah, the awning's pretty wet still, so yeah, wouldn't normally set this up for lunch, but had some rain last night and it was kind of cloudy and damp this morning, so hoping that the sun here while I cook up some lunch will dry this out a little bit. See, there was a really nice little lunch spot there that I just happened to find on the side of the main road on the way through. You'll probably see sort of where it is on the way out here, tucked away nicely. So there's a roadside stopping area, and this is down below that. But yeah, as I was saying, look, Craig's Hut is a fantastic high country destination. It's often very popular, and as you saw there with the Delatite River, this was just after we'd had quite a lot of rain, so the tracks were very wet. And yeah, I camped last night down in the Marysville State Forest. I probably will put out a little video. I did a little bit of exploring there. A lot of those tracks are closed around the Cathedral Range at the moment due to damage, so you can't access most of that area at the moment. So yeah, just following the main road up towards Mount Buller. Just literally follow the signs. It's not difficult, of course. And as you would have seen on the map at the start of this video, it's about an hour and a half or so from Mansfield up to Craig's Hut. So as you saw on the sign there, we're coming into Mirrumbar. It's also the last fuel stop, so most likely though you will have fueled up in Mansfield, but you can get fuel here if you need to. And just on the left there is where you would normally queue up to purchase or show your passes during the snow season. And immediately past here is the turn off to Mount Sterling. So for the easy way up to Craig's Hut, this is where you turn left and follow the Mount Sterling Road. And just down here is also where the bitumen does end. There we are, crossing that Delatite River again. And from here all the way up, it's a pretty good two-wheel drive gravel road all the way. good width, not too corrugated. It's got a few corrugations like any gravel road, and there were a couple of little soft spots, but nothing that was going to stop you even in a two-wheel drive vehicle getting through. I was in I think I was in two-wheel drive, or possibly four high, as you can do with the Pajero without the center locker engaged. Nice little waterfall there on the inside of this corner. It's all the storm water coming down off the mountain. Don't know if that's normally flowing quite like that, and you might just glimpse another one there on the right hand side of the frame. Just gives you some idea of how much water there was actually coming down off the mountain still. Some great views from this road on the way through as well. And yeah, as you can see, it's a pretty well maintained road, and definitely very accessible. What we're coming to here is sort of a trailhead parking area, so there's a lot of hiking tracks that start from here, and this is also where we join the circuit road. So on the right hand side there, that portion of circuit road was actually blocked at this time, and you can see the sign there pointing left, Craig's Hut, 21 kilometres, and so that's the way we want to go anyway. So 21 k's from here around to Craig's Hut. It's pretty much all good two-wheel drive road, in good condition generally, even with the weather we'd had, and quite passable to two-wheel drive vehicles. This was one of those little soft spots. As I said, I certainly saw a few two-wheel drive vehicles well past this, so it wasn't stopping anyone getting through, that's for sure, and I would expect through summer you're not going to see that anyway. So this circuit track just basically works its way around the mountain. You sort of start on the western side and work your way around to the northern side. It does vary a little bit, but generally you've got trees fairly close to the track all the way around. This was one section you could see just on the starter frame there, where they'd had a bit of track damage right on the edge where a bit of landslip had occurred. And as I was saying, that gives you an idea of the kind of vehicles that can get in here. Just about anything. Another little waterfall there. There's a lot of little streams coming down off the mountain. A little bit of a soft wet spot here. And as always, you've got to be aware that you might be coming across some tree falls in any high country road or track. That one had obviously long been cleared, and I think being a fairly main road, you'd be fairly safe that generally with the amount of traffic this road gets, any tree falls are probably going to be cleared unless you happen to be the first one to come across it. And yeah, as you can see, I did catch up to somebody that was going the same way as me, just up ahead there. Not surprising given how popular Craig's Hut is. And as you're probably getting the idea, it does double back on itself a lot, this track. You sort of snake your way gradually up the mountain. None of it's particularly steep. They've cut the road in to have a nice sort of gentle, steady gradient, so again, very drivable by just about anyone. Now you can see that sign there, that's indicating that you're coming up to the parking area for the hiking track up to Craig's Hut. So that's just on the left there. There's a long drop and you can park there, and just on the right hand side is where the walking track or hiking track up to Craig's Hut goes. So if you're in a two-wheel drive vehicle, that's probably your best option. And just 2 or 3 kilometres further on, you come to the start of Clear Hills Track, which is the 3 kilometre four-wheel drive section to get to the hut. Now, I say four-wheel drive, I honestly think in an all-wheel drive Kluger or something like that, with a little bit of clearance, you could probably drive this quite comfortably, particularly given that if you did it in summer. As I said, this track was a little bit wetter than you might expect, generally I would think, and I certainly didn't have any traction issues. This is the easy way to Craig's Hut, certainly as far as I understand it. I've come up from the Monument track before. That's a little more challenging, something you definitely want a four-wheel drive for. Now this 3 kilometre section of track, because it is only 3 kilometres, I've actually filmed the whole track. So this whole 3 kilometres, this is the whole track from Circuit Road all the way to the hut. If you don't want to see this whole section of track, feel free to skip ahead to some shots of the hut at the end. I thought I'd include this just so you could get a good idea if you're thinking about doing this in an all-wheel drive vehicle or something of that nature. You get a good idea of what the track is actually like, and you can make an informed decision about whether you want to tackle it. Most of it is quite manageable and not that different to the roads. On that initial little climb, there's a couple of erosion humps that you need a little bit of clearance to get up and over, so you don't belly out in the middle, so a little bit of a decent ramp over. And you will see coming up, there was one section that was a little bit wet and slippery, but I think during summer that's going to be far less of an issue. You can see there's a bit of water actually sitting on the track, and it's not a super wide track, so again, I think during peak times you'd probably find yourself having to squeeze over. It looks like there's a few spots like that one there where you could make some room for overtaking. It's fortunately certainly not on the side of a cliff or something like that. And all in all, yeah, it's pretty straightforward driving, but that's the whole point, isn't it? This is the easy way to Craig's Hut. As you can see, a lot of the track's fairly flat. There's really not too much to worry about at all. A little bit of water sitting around in a few of the places there. And a few areas where they've put fences in place. Looks like people have maybe been going off the track, or they're just trying to revegetate those areas. Now this was the only section that was sort of a little bit slippery. You can see there a bit of clay, a little bit rutted. I would expect this to be drier and easier to drive during summer. Not that it was that slippery at this particular time, but this is probably the only section of this whole 3 kilometers of track that was something that would give you a little bit of pause, maybe in an all-wheel drive. But again, if you're running decent tyres, I don't think you would have too much of an issue. I went back out this same way and didn't lose any traction at all driving back up that. So again, you can see a revegetation area there. We're getting fairly close to the hut now. Likewise on the left, they've blocked that one off with some boulders and a bit of water sitting around. Part of the walking track there up to the hut. Last little bit of a climb here. Again, this wasn't slippery at all. Looks a little bit wet probably in the footage, but wasn't anything of concern. From there it's just a straight run pretty much up here to the hut. On the left hand side, if you're approaching from this direction, just before you get to the hut area, there is a camping area on the left hand side, so it's on the opposite side of the track. My understanding is the area around the hut is day use only, but there is actually a camping area up here, so you can camp within reasonable proximity of the hut if you so choose. Bit of a hole there. And Craig's Hut being as popular as it is, I would expect this track would be fairly well maintained as well. So just there on the left is the access, or the first access into that camping area that I mentioned. There's another one there. There's some designated fireplaces down there from memory, and you can see probably in the distance there a couple of vehicles just coming out now from the parking area at Craig's Hut. So we just pulled up to let them go, and they've headed off in the other direction, which takes you to the monument track. Now, I wasn't sure if that was open this particular day or not, because a lot of the tracks were still closed due to flood damage, so I didn't end up heading that way. Now, as you can see, when you come in, the road forks, the entry's on the left and the exit is on the right hand side. Car park is broken into a number of different areas. There's quite a number of car parks. It does get busy during peak times. I've certainly seen it busier when I've been up in here. Long drop toilet was just on the left there that we passed. There's really only one table under shelter up here. There's a couple of other spots that you can sit, and the hut is just over that little rise there, as you'll see shortly. But yeah, that's the easy way up to Craig's Hut. As you can see, guys, you don't need a hugely fully equipped vehicle or anything, so if it's one that's been on your bucket list to get up and do, I highly recommend it. Here's a little walking track just through to the hut itself. If you aren't sure about what the story is with Craig's Hut, this is the hut that was built for the Man from Snowy River movies, and the Craig family, main characters in the movie, lived in this hut. It has been rebuilt since the movies were originally made, But look at that view. Certainly worse places to wake up in the morning. So yeah, there's an old fence and gate around the hut for access. And there's the hut with the view across the range behind it. Certainly one of the huts that has the best views. There's the view from the veranda, and it has been built like a traditional timber slab hut. One of the only ones I've seen that actually has a paved floor. And this is inside the hut. As I said, you can see the paved floor there. It'd actually be quite a comfortable place to stay if you're up there. But yeah, obviously there's no camping in the hut. Camping in the campgrounds. So thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Like this video if you liked it, and I will see you in the next one.